Welcome, everyone, to the Dance podcast. I'm your host, Will Morales. And for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, this podcast is all about house music. Whether you're a DJ, dancer, producer, roller skater, you have to be on this podcast. And today, my guest is Jon Mavek. Did I get your last name right, Jon?
Jon Mavek.
Jon Mavek. There you go. See, I should practice this before. So I saw Jon a couple of weeks ago with Crazy Carlos in Central Park by the band shell. And I'm looking at I never saw Jon before, but when he was playing, I said, holy shit, this guy's playing nothing but bangers. It was like one banger after another. And Jon was nice enough to, be on the show. So I really appreciate it. So, Jon, my brother, thank you so much for being on Dance Podcast. Dance House Dance Podcast. How are you?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
No, it's my pleasure. So, Jon, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you start? What was your journey like to become a DJ? Tell us a little bit about yourself. What was that journey like?
Okay, so let's go back because I may look like a young man, but I'm definitely not one. So, um, I fell in love with house music when I was about 12 years old. This was back in 1988. So,
Okay.
I was immediately drawn to it because my older brother was a DJ.
Okay.
So my older brother, one day he brings over this record, puts it on the record player, and at the time he didn't even have a record player. We were playing the records on my mom's record player, right? So me being 12 years old, I'm listening to the music, and I'm like, my God, what is this? This is really amazing. So while he was playing it, I started dancing, and I was like, wow, this music is amazing and stuff, right? So the first record that I heard back in 1988 that made me a house head for life. It's the number one. You know how everybody ranks all their house records and stuff like that, whatever. So this is my number one house record of all time, and it's called "A Day in the Life" by Black Riot, aka Todd Terry.
Yes. Yes.
So that record pretty much changed my life and made me a house head, and I've never stopped. I've been going at it ever since. So I was 12 years old at the time, but I knew that I wanted to pick up on my brother's, follow my brother's footsteps and become a DJ myself. So um, I was basically like listening to the radio stations back then. I don't know if you, I'm sure you remember. Before it was Hot 97, it was called Hot 103.
Right. I remember that. Yes.
And then I found out in the 70s it was called KTU and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that radio station was built for dance music, basically, right? So when I was, that age and stuff, there was a show on the radio station, and it was on Friday nights. I vividly remember, and I would be listening to this radio station religiously because I really liked what the DJ was playing.
Right.
The DJ was Glenn Frisha. I'm sure you heard of
Okay.
Glenn Frisha.
I heard it. I heard the name. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Back in those days.
So
Yes.
yeah, so Glenn Frisha was pretty much like my first DJ teacher. So
Mhm.
me being a very good student, right? Uh, I was listening to the mixes very carefully, and I pretty much figured out how he blends the music just by
Mhm.
listening to what he was doing. And it was a formula that I've been using ever since, man. So that's pretty much how my secret formula of how to DJ and be like, an excellent blender, I guess you could say, when you're
Right.
mixing the records and stuff like that. Because at that early age, I developed that skill. So fast forward to 1992. I was 15 because I turned 16. My birthday's in November, so I get the end of the piece when you get older, whatever. But
Yeah.
um, I was 15, and I finally had a job. So I decided, hey, this is it. I'm gonna start DJing. So when I started working, I was saving up all my money, and I asked my brother to take me to the record stores and stuff, right? So Rob would take me to the record stores and stuff, and I would look over the records and stuff like that, and I would, you know, I just wasn't able to pick up the ones that I wanted and stuff like that. So I basically started just playing his music.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was playing his music because at the time he finally had turntables, but they weren't anything that all of us know. They weren't the Techniques 1200s or anything like that. They were belt drive turntables. So I learned how to DJ on belt drive turntables, man. So that's how pretty much I got my chops in, right? So um I was getting into it with my brother, 15 years old, getting into it and all that stuff. It was great, whatever. But you know, I developed my skill with that. So I just never stopped. I kept on practicing and everything. So, but it wasn't until I was about 18 years old, right?
Yeah.
Finally had enough. At that time, I was making more money than I was at 15. And my brother would tell me, you need to get, if you're really serious about becoming a DJ, you have to get the 1200s, right? So I literally was like, okay, I'm going to save up my money and I'm going to get these 1200s because that's pretty much what I need. So, right, the day came, I finally had the money, right? And I went down to the record shops down by Canal Street. You remember those record shops
Oh,
by Canal Street?
definitely. I went down there back in the 90s, maybe
Right,
even late 80s. Yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah,
We're talking. This was 1994,
yeah.
right?
Okay.
1994, 95, around that time. So I finally bought my 1200s, man, and I was very, very happy. I'm like, man, I can't believe it. I remember vividly going to sleep, turning on the turntable, right, and the light would come up, and I would just be mesmerized by it. I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. I'm going to become a great DJ. So I went to town, man. I was practicing every day after school. It
Yeah.
was it was my obsession. I was obsessed with it, man. It became a lifelong passion for me. So, I kept on working on stuff, doing all my mixes and stuff, making mixtapes, right? Handing them out
Mm.
to my friends and stuff, and everybody loved what I was doing. So then fast forward to 1996. I turned 20 that year. Okay.
Okay.
Big significant thing happened. I met a friend who happened to work at the tunnel. Are,
Mm.
are you familiar with the tunnel,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah,
So he
definitely.
happens he happens to work at the tunnel, and he introduced me to one of the promoters there. So I spoke to the promoter. Um, his name was Hector Lewis. I'll never forget his name. So I gave him my demo, and back then, you remember the tapes were either 45 minutes or 100 minutes, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
So
yeah.
I wanted to give him a full length demo. So I gave him a 100-minute demo. And back then I was playing a lot of hard house music, right? Like the hard
Mm.
house stuff that was really into it back then, very tribally, very New York style, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So he absolutely loved it, and he offered me a residency at the tunnel.
Wow. And you were 20?
I was 20 years old, man.
Wow.
So I got that gig. Every Friday night I would do a party called Access. It was a party called Access,
Okay.
right? And I had the Kenny Sharp room. If you ever been to the tunnel, there was a room full of lava lamps, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh my God. I haven't been there so long, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Okay.
that was my room on Friday nights.
Yeah.
And I remember, man, I was so into it. I remember this big diesel guy came into to the booth, right? And I got so mad because he bumped the turntable and the record skipped. I'm like, yo, get the hell out of here. What's wrong with you, blah blah? You messing up my night. I didn't care how big or what he was, whatever, because I felt invincible behind the decks, man.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the that's the great thing about what I do. Like you seriously feel like nothing could like hurt you. You feel invincible,
Yeah.
and that's one of the things that I loved about it. So after that, I got plenty of gigs here and there. I got a chance to play at Cielo once. Um, I was doing promotions for Limelight for a little bit
Yeah.
before they closed, and I was just basically on my grind because I really loved the nightlife. Back in the '90s, man, it was just a complete different, you know, experience than it is now. So, but I never stopped. So fast forward, now we're in the 2000s, right? So in the 2000s, I pretty much wanted to segue into making my own music and stuff like that, right? So
Mm,
I started looking into how I could start becoming a producer.
right.
And I got with a guy who taught me about that. And he told me to get a couple of programs. One was a program called Cubase.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with that, but
No,
I
no,
got
not at
I got
all.
into yeah, I got into Cubase. I learned how to I taught, I taught myself how to use it and stuff like that. I wasn't really happy with the stuff that I was making because I was, just learning how to do this stuff, whatever. And it was great, for the most part. I got the basics down, and then I just
Yeah.
moved on from there, and I started using Reason, which is another program and stuff. So I was basically getting better and better at music production, and it wasn't until 2008 that I discovered the program that I'm still using to this day, which is
Okay.
called Ableton. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
No,
So
no, that's good.
yeah, so Ableton became pretty much like my standard weapon for making music. So that's pretty much what I've been doing, and I've been making music ever since 2003. So basically, 33 years as a DJ,
Crazy.
and 33 years as a DJ. Started in 1992, and 22 years as a music producer. And
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah, go
go
ahead,
ahead.
John. Go, no, no, go, please. So
No,
22 years as a producer. Yeah, go ahead.
22 years as a producer and 33 years as a DJ.
That's incredible. And the thing is, John, you had once you heard music, you heard the house music at 12 years old, you had right then and there, you knew that's what you wanted to do, which is amazing. I always give anybody that young credit that they already focus. Me, I'm all over the place. Even to this
Right.
day, I'm still all over the place, but you already had your goals. So, John, when you go into gigs, right? One of the things I like to ask DJs, and it's going to be house music. You already know that. Do you already have a list of music that you're going to play, or do you get the feel of the crowd? Like, how important is the crowd for your music and for your vibe? You know, um,
I'm glad you asked me that question because it's something that I feel that with my experience, I could totally
yeah,
help any upcoming DJ, get that down pat. So, um, I pretty much get my sets ready for any gig that I'm going to do. Let's
yeah,
just say that I'm going to, do a gig for like an hour, right?
right.
So I pretty much compile all my music, listen to every single song, so that way, you know, um, I know that they work well together. And I feel that a lot of DJs don't do that. A lot of
Mhm.
DJs don't do their homework when it comes to that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you could totally see it on the dance floor. I'm sure you've seen it. Like you see a DJ get up, right? The place is packed. He has everybody dancing. And then the DJ after him comes on and they clear the floor.
100%. Oh my
So
God. Yeah,
so
definitely. I've
so
seen that. Yeah.
so the reason why that is because the first DJ pretty much set the tone for what he or she wanted to get accomplished, right? The
Yeah.
party was rocking, but the next DJ wasn't prepared.
Mm,
They got up there and started just playing tracks that don't
right.
work. I've seen that happen so many times. That's why I ask every time that I play, please let me play third or let me close. I don't want to play in between. That's
Mm.
pretty much how I've always worked that, because it all depends on who I'm DJing with. You know what I mean?
Ah, okay.
So that's what's going on with that. So a lot of DJs don't do that. So let's just say you're at a party and you have your playlist already set and you're gonna and it's rocking, but at some point you're losing your crowd. That's when you start to read your crowd. You start to
Yeah.
look at your crowd and see what it is that they're moving to. And then you find a track with that same energy, that
Yeah.
same vibe, that same sort of movement to get people going. That's
Yeah.
how you do that. That's how you read your crowd. And that's how you move about it. Me, I've been very, very fortunate because I've been doing this for so long that I've become pretty much like a master of compiling my music before my gigs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You
So
know, and you hit on something, right? Because I've been to, and because I'm a roller skater, I like dancing, I love, the vibe at the park. And
yeah,
I notice where some DJs, they'll have a nice banger. And then all of a sudden, the next song, I mean, they don't even take you down. It's like they got you up here and then they drop you right off the bat, and I'm like,
right.
gee, and then we'll talk among each other. I'm like, man, that brought our head down just like
Yes.
that. Um, One of the things I wanted to ask you, so how did you meet Crazy Carlos? Like, how was that meeting, and how did you end up in Central Park?